Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks car commentary for Friday, November the 3rd. You'll notice that objects in the background are moving. That's because I am moving. I'm on my way to work, preparing for our biggest work event of the year, a massive rally for grade 7 students this weekend. That's why I missed yesterday's update, and I probably won't do another update until Tuesday, the day after the Canucks host the Red Wings. So I hope you guys will be able to cope for those 3 or 4 days. I'm sure you'll miss me a lot, but hey, it'll be worth it. And next week I look forward to getting back to daily Canucks commentaries. So don't worry, I'm going to keep my eyes on the road mostly, and I apologize that you have to stare at the right side of my face for this video. Today I want to talk about the Canucks offense, or lack thereof. As they get ready to host Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday, they are coming off 2 consecutive losses. A 2-1 loss to Dallas, and then a 2-0 loss to Corey Schneider and the New Jersey Devils. And in both games, the Canucks played very well. I wouldn't say they dominated the game, but they certainly controlled parts of the game. And you could blame the losses on a combination of things, but mainly that they made the opposing goaltender look really good. Whether that was Ben Bishop on Monday night with the Dallas Stars or Corey Schneider on Wednesday night with the New Jersey Devils. And don't get me wrong, they are very good goalies, but the Canucks, I think, made it too easy on them. And I was reminded of this lack of scoring punch when I was watching the Whitecaps yesterday in their futile attempt to create offense against Seattle in their MLS playoff match. And I think the Canucks woes come down to a few things, which I'll get to in a second, but let's look at the goal scoring totals real quick. After 12 games, Dorsett has 6 goals, and he's not going to be a 40 or 50 goal scorer, but that's a great start, obviously. Then you have 3 players with 4 goals. That's Bo Horvat, Sven Baertschi, and Thomas Vanek. They have 4 goals in 12 games, 1 goal every 3 games. So that's a decent pace actually to start the year. It might seem slow or it might seem low, but that's on pace for a 25 to 27 goal season, which is pretty good. Then you have a bunch of players with 2 goals, and then a few with 1, including Gagne and Burmistrov, 2 recently acquired players that we want more from, and Brandon Sutter. And then even Henrik Sedin, our captain, has 0 goals on the season. So that's obviously that's got to change if the Canucks want to get back to their winning ways. And yes, the Canucks have regressed to the mean a little bit after a great start. They are still 6-4-2 for 14 points after 12 games, which puts them close or right on a playoff pace. But again, still early. But as they play more and more games, we're going to stop saying it's still early, and we're going to say this is who they are. So let's talk about who they are, especially on offense. Their power play, they got to fix that, obviously. We've been talking about it for the first dozen games already. Whether it's alignment, whether it's personnel, whether it's actually putting Brock Besser where he'd be most effective on the face-off dot, whatever it may be, that's one thing that's obviously going to help the Canucks offense is to make teams pay on the power play. The other thing I think, and the thing that sticks out to me, is I think the Canucks offense and their forward play is starting to become a tad predictable already, just 12 games in. And you look at guys like Bo Horvat and Jake Virtanen, for instance. They're 2 of my favorite players, as you guys know. But I think when they come into the offensive zone, it's a little predictable. Both of them will generally try and beat their man off the rush with another outside-in move or an inside-out move or any move they want with some sort of dangle. And it looks great when it works, but it's also quite predictable. And I think a lot of defenders are realizing what they're doing and trying to stop and are successfully stopping that play. You know the Sedins aren't going to beat anyone at their speed, so they'll do a slap pass or quick passes to the slot. And you know that when they're in the slot, even with a point-blank chance, that they're probably going to end up passing it. So that's predictable. You know Dorsett and Granlund, actually let's go with Dorsett and Sutter, they create their offense off of turnovers. And it's a good thing, I'm not complaining, but they'll often check a defenseman behind the net, and already a few times I've seen this year, the puck will then get dislodged, come to the front of net, and then give Sutter or Dorsett a wonderful scoring opportunity, especially Dorsett. But that's kind of predictable too. Another thing that's predictable, and not in a bad way necessarily, is Granlund and Vanek especially. We've seen that they're both excellent around the net. They have great hand-eye coordination, and they've been able to tip some pucks past goalies by being in front of the net and going to the dirty places. And that's why, for instance, Vanek has 4 goals already. So I basically talked about 8 of the 12 forwards right there, and I'm not saying I can do any better, obviously. I'm not in the NHL, but I will say that I think it's kind of predictable what they do. Because the Canucks aren't the fastest team, because they don't have the strongest shooters, it is predictable, and it might be somewhat easy to cover them with Horvat, Virtanen and their rushes, or the Sedins with their passing, or that Granlund and to go to the front of the net, or you know that Dorsett and Sutter like to do a lot of their work along the boards and behind the net. So what can the Canucks do to fix it? Well, they got to get more traffic in front of opposing goalies, that's for sure. They got to stop shooting into the goalie's chest. There have been many times over the past 2 games especially where they've gotten really grade A scoring chances in front of the slot, and they're not picking corners, or they're not actually shooting low, creating hard shots that create rebounds off the pads. And that's the only way I scored in roller hockey, is to put my big butt in front of the net and then pick up the garbage after one of the point men shot a shot off the goalie's pads. So I know easier said than done. I know I'm not the coach, and I know I'm not the players, obviously, but that's one thing that the Canucks got to do, is just create more havoc in front of the net. More traffic will create more rebounds, more scrambles, and more dirty and greasy goals. And hopefully, the one guy I haven't mentioned except from the very start during the power play discussion is Brock Besser. He's only got 2 goals in 9 games, still playing well. He has a lot of assists, which is great. He's been setting up his line mates like Berchi and Horvat. That's why Berchi and Horvat have 4 goals apiece. But I'd love to see Brock shoot more, obviously score more, and that will start on the power play. So Canucks fans, I'm at work. There's good timing. So what do you think? Are you worried about the Canucks scoring woes? Or do you think it's just par for the course? It's part of the early season as teams figure each other out? And do you agree with me that the Canucks offense and their level of dangerousness and creativity is maybe a tiny bit predictable, and that teams are already starting to hone in on it? We'd love to hear your feedback. Leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, I invite you to do so now. And don't forget, I probably won't check in until Tuesday, so enjoy the games. Pittsburgh on Saturday, Detroit on Monday. God bless, and go Canucks go.